the CEO of AdMixt coming to us right now.
Let's
He
go.
is here waiting in the wings. I am talking about the one and only Kevin Simonson, or Simonson. Sorry, Kevin, if I mispronounced that. They work with the biggest darlings inside of our space, and even people that like they're so big that they're kind of like not the darlings. They're the ones who have already made it. Okay. I'm talking about the Vuoris of the world, the Vineyard Vines of the world, the Glossiers of the world, etc. I just became aware of him a few months ago, and we got to bring him in here because they got proprietary tech on the backside of all that they do. And he also is bullish on IRL like we are. I'm talking about the one and only Kevin, CEO of AdMix. Kevin, get in here. There he is.
Kevin, how's it going?
Man, even better now that you're here, brother. And this convo has been long awaited on my end. Like I said, Kevin, I just became aware of you not too long ago. And I feel like we need more of your brain in word form and video on the interwebs so everybody can know all the goodness AdMix is doing in the world.
There's a reason. One, I'm kind of old for our space in that, I started an agency back in 2015. I built it up and I sold it to W Promote in 2020, worked for them and then retired. So
Did you really?
Yeah, I took like 2 years off. And I still talk to a bunch of agency people and brand people. I mean, I've been pretty fortunate. I know you guys had Chad on the other week, but like his first marketing hire used to work for me. I had a former employee running AG1, Farmer's Dog. Like they've all, I mean, it's really awesome part of building a company is watching your employees go on to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I was largely chilling and hanging out, which was weird. But that 2015 to 2020 stretch, certainly I was just heads down.
Wow, man. Well, that gives me good context here. Go ahead, Colin.
What pulled you back in? Because there's a lot of founders that have that exit and they're like, hey, peace, I'm going to be in Europe for a while. You're not going to see me. I've talked to a couple of guys that are in the midst of basically they're exiting. They can't really talk about it. And they're like, you're not going to see me for like 4 years. I'm going to be in Europe and bye. So what made you come back in?
It's a good question. I mean, I was in a cool spot where I had some offers that were really good. And I was just, I mean, I've told people this because it's true. The easiest way to lose money is to sell your company and stop working. Like I lost 20 to 30 pounds of stress weight. Just like not even changing my diet, not even changing my exercise. Like it beats you up. Like in client services is grind, and that's okay. Like, you sign up, I think, for a reason, and you know that going into it. But I just said no for about 18 months. And then I emailed a few people, texted a few people and said, hey, I'm interested in just consulting, like nothing full time, while I try to figure out if I wanted to start a brand. I started a whitelisting kind of publisher project as a hobby. Like I learned to golf, like whatever. I was just like living life. Oh, I had a kid. That's kind of a big deal. So
kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Right. So eventually, like when you're consulting, you get exposed, right? You get to like see a bunch of interesting things and like go a little deeper. And like, that was a nice little segue into like, okay, am I interested in this? No, maybe nominally it sounded cool, but now that I'm doing it, I don't like it so much. The thing I liked the most, honestly, was working with private equity firms on due diligence projects. Most of my referrals from Metric Digital, my old agency, came from private equity. So, we were all aligned that like the goal here is to make them money. It wasn't pretty decks or nice dinners or whatever, or events, which have a purpose. I was listening in, but like, it was like, oh, we make you money. So anyways, after that, full circle to AdMix, I had known the founder of AdMix for 13 years. And we just stayed friends, even though we're competitors. We ran Mac Weldon, he ran MeUndies, like small world. He was the only growth marketer I knew that was a real engineer. Like he was the CTO of a publicly traded company. So like he's got chops, which is very rare in our world. So I was like, oh, AdMix is always doing super interesting things. I mean, even as competitors, I was like, if there's a technical problem I can't solve, I'm going to send it to Zach. Just super smart guy. And anyway, since we were friends, he eventually, we were having like a virtual coffee, which we did occasionally. And he was like, hey, do you want to come in and be CEO? And obviously I did. That's a longer story, but in part because I was doing these RFPs as a consultant when I was on the growth side for brands, and every pitch was like the same. It was all like, we're going to do a lot of creative, throw it at the wall. This look at our logos. And I was just like, and I know these people personally and I like them. Like, right? Like I have a lot of friends because like after you sell, Zach Stuck probably lived this. Like you get a lot of texts and a lot of DMs of like, hey, what's it like? Can you give me some advice? And I did, like, because I think like it's a nice pay it forward thing to do. I obviously wasn't competitive anymore. So anyways, AdMix is extremely different. So when we go to an RFP, it's not even an apples to apples at the end. If we lose it, sometimes it's because it's apples and oranges and they thought they were looking for a thing. And it's like, well, actually, we're very different. And you touched on it in the beginning, but you know, that was one of the other reason was, and you kind of noted this with the brands, like the average brand stays with us for over 3 years. A lot of them are pretty massive, cool businesses. It's not just D2C at all. Like we have D2C, but we have a massive app client. We have huge lead generation clients. So it's like, the problem with AdMix is nobody knew they existed. To your point of like, who are you? Where have you been? Like, it's like, you know, they're just like a heads down, we do good work company as opposed to, and like, maybe that's to a fault, right? Like I should be out there. Like you should know we exist and stuff. So like, that is like something that's like obviously on my roadmap of like exposure and actual like content, things of that nature.
Well, you know, as you're talking, Kevin, just like, you know, a passing by comment here. Our average client stays for over 3 years. That is bananas. That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's the longest period that I have ever heard. I mean, that's
So when I was in due diligence with W Promote, you know, our average was 2.7 years and going up, like getting longer at Metro Digital, and it was the highest I think they'd ever seen at the time. So when I saw 3.1, that you're right, it's an outlier. And by the way, that was on back in the day. It's since changed to like a 30-day out, but that was on you could fire us on the same day. They had a 24-hour out.
Wow.
Yeah, really? Which is like, money where your mouth is, you know, like month to month.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like I said, like I do this as an insider of like, oh, they do good work and they work with really cool brands. But once again, most people don't even know who we are, what we do.
Could you dive into that a little bit for the agency guys listening to that? I mean, when they hear 3 years with the client, that sounds like an absolute dream. Could you talk about some of those retention strategies or how you're holistically thinking about that client where it's like, hey, you're gonna be married to us. We're gonna be on this thing for forever. Because I know some agencies are like, all right, let me just get in there, I'll do some changes, and then I'm out of there. But hopefully you're thinking about this from hopefully it works. You're thinking about this from such a longer term perspective.
Well, it's funny because the short term feeds the long term. Like I don't go in being like, hey, we'll be working together 3 years later. I mean, like there was a brand that joined the same month I did, it's not even 2 years ago, and they didn't go into it like that. I knew them personally, like that was part of the connection. But it was, you know, I think in what we do, you can fool a brand for certainly a week, a month, a quarter, maybe even a year if you're locked into a bad contract. You can't do it for year over year. Like you can't just be a performance agency that doesn't do good performance for that long with the same company. It's impossible. Like nobody's that stupid for that long. And able to obfuscate all the data you need to do, like it just doesn't happen. So anyways, you know, we think short term, you know, the days build into weeks, builds into months, builds into quarters. And if you just keep on going up into the right or hitting their goals, like they're not going to leave. Even, you know, I get asked a lot about like in-housing versus agency. And ultimately, when you work with pretty large brands, they do both. They have we have a brand that has 8 people on their in-house team and our full agency, right? Wow. So like we're talking like magnitudes of order of larger businesses than your average D2C brand, but like you become indispensable when you have that technology and you keep hitting goals in a world where it's increasingly difficult to hit goals.
Yeah. Okay, Kevin, you've got to double click on the creative piece for us, because I noted one of your tweets, and I know there's tech, there's engineering behind what you guys do. I just in general, I just always think more creative, better, you know. And I confess, like the best ad I ever made, it got uploaded into the account by accident, you know. I mean, it did. Yeah. And so I'm just always thinking like more creative is better. But man, you just put out this tweet here lately. It's like we take over an account. A lot of times we'll take out 50% of the creative inside of there, and performance goes up and to the right. I mean, just double click on this, and also for whatever you can talk about. I'd love to know, like, what is going on the tech side, on the engineering side that you guys bring to the table that helps you win and keep, you know, these massive clients that you guys are working with. It is truly unique.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. I was in New York last week and I met with one of my old employees who runs an agency called Hype 10. This guy Max, and he worked for me for like 4.5 years. They have a roster of good brands. He's a good guy, and made the joke of AdMix doesn't even do creative. We do post-production. So we'll make assets, some net new using their assets, but we don't do UGC. We don't do full production. So the idea of joining an agency, a CEO for a performance agency that doesn't even offer creative, nobody's that stupid. Except for me. So there's gotta be something there, right? Like this isn't made up. This isn't, I want this to be true. It's just like, no, the data supports this. So like, it's coming from not I think, it's coming from, no, I see the numbers. So the general narrative is that more ads are better. And like, you need a lot more ads to improve performance. And like, I just completely disagree. Once again, that's on data. I can spend a long time. I'll keep it short, or I can give you like the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory version of this.
I'll take all of it. Give it all to me, Kevin.
All right. So y'all remember back in April 2021, Apple does their like Deepwater Horizon oil spill on the Meta algorithm and like pulls all the data and like like performance tanks. And everybody's like, I mean, I was learning how to golf, so I was just like watching this and like being like, oh, I'm out. But at the same time, that happens, right? And everybody's just like is losing their minds. So Meta's like, well, shit, we don't have the data to like basically keep powering the same performance. What do we do? And I think what they did was, well, we need more data, so now you need more ads. And you need broad, and we're going to go put all these ads out there and collect more data, and we have to find a temporary solution to get out of this massive data loss when Apple bails. So you see, and you can see like on the brand side of it, I don't like to look at the agency side because I know that world, but you look at like who starts killing it. Two Giants, Narrative, Rick House, Donut Digital. What do they sell? They sell quantity of ads. I mean, some quality certainly, but like that's their model, and they're just up and to the right. And brands in-house teams are like, oh shit, we need to like build this out. We need to launch way more ads. And at the same time, even from a product standpoint, Meta's like, hey, you know what? Now you can have 150 ads in an ad set. So they're going directly in the product route of like more ads, more data.
Yeah.
Okay, fast forward. They get that data. The algorithm gets better. You don't see as much volatility in performance. And then you go back to whatever it was almost a year and a half ago now, all the AI releases. They got smarter. They got less reliant on Apple. They got all the data they needed. And now, I mean, straight up, their product says, actually don't do 150. Do 5 ads per ad set. That's actually what works. Now they're walking back the, hey, you need a lot. Doesn't mean diversification, like, doesn't matter. Like, I'm not saying that, but the quality game, like, totally been walked back by their entire PR team, their product team. And then you look at performance and, I can't speak directly to the agencies that sell quantity, but they're not doing as well as they did in 2022 or 23. And it's been on a decline. And I could like I said, I know this world pretty well. And I don't need to like talk about that piece, but I just know like that as a service that they're selling is not doing as well as it did. Brands that have been buying it are not doing as well as they did. And it's totally in line with that roadmap and those changes over time. So, I can look at our data and be like, hey, like we pull back ads. I mean, like to answer your question about, okay, so like what do we do about it? I mean, the answer is that, and I think I replied in the tweet, but if people want like the more nitty gritty, but essentially what we're looking at is log level data. So we do that with a BigQuery on top of GA4 in our platform. So we don't, I guess like for everybody, we don't use the ads manager. Like we don't use TikTok to buy ads. We don't use Snap. We buy ads through our own software. We optimize, we build ads. Everything's done within the same platform. So when we do that, we can see every attribution window from every platform. We can see third party, like I said, BigQuery, GA4, Northbeam, Triple Whale, WorkMagic. I think we're connected to 18 or 21 APIs as of right now. So we can then look at, hey, what's actually happening at the top of the funnel, in the middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, because I tell like even normies, I'm just like, hey, I'm willing to bet you without an audit, without access to your account, your top performing ad from a last click returns basis is a static with a value prop. Like, and then like, and they're like, yeah, that tends to be true. But that's interesting because I heard I need video. and video reaches a lot of people. And we pull the API incremental reach and we see it's video. So we know the best performing static, but everybody says you need video and video is reaching new people. What's happening in between? So what you see, like, I'll just give you the answer. What you see is people do not optimize motion creative or video, we want to call it that, for the middle and the top. They're not connecting the assisted conversions all the way to the bottom. And they're just basically like this historic strategy, like we're just going to throw a lot at the wall and hopefully it works. It did then. It's working worse now. For me, I'm just like, oh, great. But like, I'm waiting for the market to catch up to this. Like, honestly, like I'm just waiting. It's like a matter of like when I get to work with a brand, not if at this point, because they're just declining.
Kevin,
I don't know. Like, I'm serious. Like I know these people and I know who's leaving them, and like I'm like, all right, cool, we'll be here.
Wow, Kevin,
that's pretty unbelievable.
That's incredible, man.
There's other layers to this. Like I'm not a meta doomer. I'm not like the bugs, they're real, whatever. But like I don't have to deal with them because I go through the API. And frankly, the volatility and performance doing poorly for other people is good for me. Like I'd be lying if I said that's not true. Like, I mean, I like it to like a financial market. Like, would you hire a wealth manager who had never been through a downturn or a recession?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I've been doing this forever. Like I've been through every single one, and I know it's about getting out quickly. It's not that you're going to solve it from happening. Nobody stops the economy from going down. You just have strategies to get out of it quicker. That's what tech helps us with, right? So I'm just sitting there like, okay, sucks for you. Like, that's it.
Kevin, this very enlightening. Go ahead, Colin.
I mean, what do you think is next for the Meta expansion? How we're going to see Meta roll out in the rest of this year? You are probably ingesting treasure troves amounts of data into what you're seeing every single day. So how do you see this play out as the rest of this year goes forward? I mean, Chris and I just covered terrible disruptions from them. I rag on them all the time. Chris is a little bit more forgiving.
But
anyway, well, we're two different takes. What do you think about it?
I owe Meta my career. And I've been dealing with this.
This is how I feel, Kevin. This is how I feel. I feel the same.
Yeah. That's fair.
I was buying ads using Quaya before the PowerEditor existed, which was a third-party API tool. Like I've been doing this a very long time. And I used to have to upload Excel sheets to make my ads, and it would break all the time. I would set my alarm at night to change bids, so I'd wake up and manually change them. Like I'm old, like in this world, like I said. And I don't see it getting, like, just frankly, I don't see it getting better. I see it getting worse. And I see that what we built is a hedge against it because, for instance, when budgets accelerate and spend and, people wake up and they're like, oh, I went through 75% of my budget by 10 a.m. My tool doesn't make me do that. My tool will set an alert or stop things and keep it within range. I feel bad to some degree that people can't do this or they can't afford to do this. I can. Once again, it's a rich get richer situation. I'm sorry. I don't deal with it. I just don't. And I'm not going back either. Like, there's no way I would go back now and try to run metric digital like I do AdMix. And by the way, when I say I run it, not taking credit, it's the team, it's the tech. Like I came in, I was fortunate to do that, right? So it's like what they do and how they do it and how it works. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know how I would frankly do that job without the tech anymore. I just don't think. I know I would do it. I just wouldn't be as successful.
Kevin, everything that you're saying here about how you guys approach this, your tech, and all of this, brother, I hadn't heard anybody else talk about something like this, and I think everybody needs to hear, Kevin. I mean, I know you guys got plenty of clients. I mean, I know you got plenty of clients, and there's only like more big boys coming. But this is, I mean, you know that this is obviously a unique POV in April 2026.
I mean, that's part of the reason I joined, though. Like I said, I was getting those pitches and they're all the same. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. You can't fool brands that long. They don't stay around. You can't fool certainly that big and smart of companies we work with to have fully dedicated teams to like just data. Like it's impossible. But yeah, it's not in everybody's best interest to talk about what you can do with the API because they don't do it. right? So if I go out there and like part of the reason I'm not a big content guy is because like I'd be like, hey, here's all the cool shit I can do. You can't buy. Like nobody wants to talk to that guy. Like it makes zero sense. Like and by the way, agency people are super annoying, and I get why they're not invited to like dinners and shit. Like I wouldn't invite like agency people either if I was a brand person. So like I think the only reason I got in is because I sold my agency and was like just chilling, and people are like, no, he's cool. He doesn't do anything anymore. So like that was it. But now I'm back to being, on the hated side. And
we welcome you and we invite you, Kevin. Give me window here. Give me window here on your bullishness for IRL. Experiential marketing. I'm as bullish as I have ever been.
Yeah,
I feel like the data that you guys are collecting, utilizing, et cetera, the tech that you have operating, I would imagine gives you some window into even being able to measure the effectiveness in a way that most of us cannot. I'm just bullish on it because I know people want IRL. They're tired of AI. They don't want to be disconnected. We're humans at the end of the day. That is where my bullishness is coming from. But give me your frame on this.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a reactionary culture, politics, sports. What we do from a service perspective. And the swing over to AI is going to have a reaction, or already has a reaction with like, oh, that values in real life or things that aren't AI. I'm not here to judge the right or the wrong there. It's just like kind of how society tends to work over a period of time.
Yeah.
So if you look at the swing to AI, you're like, okay, well, what's the opposite reaction to that? And it is in real life. And I think, Vuori, to be clear, Vuori's not a client now. They were a client for years. One of my former employees is on the paid team. I've got friends on that team. So I talk to them all the time, and to their credit, they were super early on in real life. But I think where most people get wrong is you got to be doing multiple 8 figures before that starts making sense.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, but like you can look at companies like Brandless. If y'all remember them, they just went super hard community in real life, raised a ton of money, and died in like a year. So when I say that, I'm not talking about d2cshirt.com, and that's great. Like I hope that business does well, but like at the same time, I'm talking about brands that cross a certain chasm, maybe a certain plateau where they need more credibility, they need more content and creative to power it.
Yeah.
That's not super on brand. If you look for who it works, they tend to be premium to luxury, not necessarily like low cost shoppers looking for in real life experience. And I think there's different ways to kind of wade into the water as opposed to just jump into the deep end. To your last point, and what we're trying to do more of now is connect that offline to online. If a brand has a CDP and it's dedicated and they have tech around that puts them in a better position to measure the accuracy to actually do it. But once again, who's doing that? Multiple 8-figure, 9-figure brands.
Yeah.
And I know we live in this world because I've had 1,000+ calls in my life where they're like, we're going to be the next Nike. And I'm like, no, you're not. That's great, but you're not close, and you probably never will be. But you need to not emulate that massive company. You need to do what's next in front of you, even if it's not sexy. And eventually you'll start doing those things. And I like I said, I like to work with those kinds of brands. Worked with tons, obviously, that aren't that. But when I looked at, I think what inspired that one was like Jones Road, right? Cody, I think, posted about it.
Yep.
I was like, oh, and like I don't know their P&L. I don't know him super well. Like texted with him or something. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, if you kind of reverse engineer, at least from what you can read in on him, you're like, oh yeah, that's a multiple 8-figure brand. I think 2 or 3 probably owned retail. I go back to working with Bonobos, Marine Layer, Vuori, those companies over the years. And like when they did their retail expansion of what they did and what worked and what didn't, I'm like, oh, I could see that. And that's why I kind of tweeted out. I was like, yeah, he seems to be there. And if you're a brand that can get there, great. That means you're doing great. And if you are in a position where you have some budget to maybe experiment into there, especially if, like I said, we can figure out the offline to online piece, whether that's CDP or not, then you're like, those brands do well. Like those are the winners. So anyways, a little bit of a rant, but yeah.
That makes sense on the CDP and the scale side. Totally makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate you putting that revenue threshold there for us, because I think a lot of smaller brands that aren't quite ready for it get really overzealous, and it's just a ton of pressure on them, and it's a huge capital suck if they don't do it right. So
Yeah, it could not work out well. Yeah, we had probably the most winsome IRL experiential marketing experience I've ever had. We were sitting right at that. I think we were about 50 per year.
Yeah.
And we didn't, but no dedicated CDP yet. You know, we were thinking about it. You know, that was really not until later on. That makes sense as far as timeline, growth scale, etc. Kevin, man, we appreciate you coming on here, brother. And here's what I'll say. Bring all those contrarian tinfoil hat theories my way, brother, because I think this is great. I think it's great POV, helpful to the timeline and helpful to the community. And man, we appreciate you making the time to join us, and we look forward to having you back, man. Will you come back?
Yeah, I'll have a good reason to come back about the in real life, offline to offline stuff in probably a couple months.
All right, great.
Can't talk about it yet, but there will be a reason to go deeper, and it'll be fun. And then, yeah, man, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. People only appreciate my rant content anyways, so I guess that's where I gotta like lean in, you know.
Lean in.
But we'll see.
Lean in. We're here for it. Kevin, CEO of AdMix. Appreciate you joining us, brother. Look forward to having you back, man.
Thanks, guys.